Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Craft Cafe Live, the show, you guys, with none other than myself, LC, LaToya Riggins, host of All Things Craft. And I just want to introduce, give a shout out to everybody that has supported the Craft Cafe Live show. I want to give it a chance to get on Facebook because we are live. All right, give me a chance. I'm over here checking it on my phone. Yup, we're good. Hey, Facebook. If you're watching from home, I just want to make
Hey.
sure I have it up so that I can see your questions if you have any. Okay, guys? And again, we are here. This is our ECE, Early Childhood Education voices. We want to make sure that we're amplifying those voices for ECE leaders, you guys. There is no other space that does what we do. And we bring on the experts. We bring on the people that are on the ground, boots on the ground in the industry, helping children and families right now today. And a lot of times they're the unsung heroes. And we are here. Let me just give you a quick background of what we're doing here at the Craft Cafe Live. I'm your host of All Things Craft. Again, I always have to say that because you know what it is. If you don't know what Craft by Better Futures is, I'm going to tell you a quick background on it. Craft by Better Futures is a a professional development platform specifically designed for leaders of early childhood education businesses. Okay, so it speaks to that actual leader and all the things. We created a ecosystem around that business leader because you're not just a business leader, you're a leader in everything that you do. And that needs a circle of support, a community of practice. And we do professional development all over the world, you guys. And we realize that not everybody can get to these big conferences all over the world. That's why we brought it to you live on Craft for a fraction of the price, and it's online, so you don't have to actually go anywhere. You can be wherever you are in the world with a Wi-Fi signal and connect. And that's how we brought access to business owners for about 10 years now. Shout out to the founders of Craft by Better Futures, Jahivi Davis, MBA, and Dr. Robert Gunling. And over 10 years ago, they started this company to make sure that they were able to bring this to the ECE leadership community. And one thing, I came on as a host, you guys, and when I started, what I realized was that there was so many people that I wanted to talk to, but I couldn't talk during class. So we created this show, the Craft Cafe Live, to come on and really highlight not only the conversations, but the actual boot stompers, the people that are doing the work. So I am here today with a wonderful lady that I met that she has just thrown me like she makes me go crazy because all of the things that she talks about have been on the tip of the cursor of what I've been thinking of, and she makes it make sense, you guys. We're here with Tamika Garcia, and she is the founder of Guided Ancestral Healing LLC, and she's going to be talking about her journey today and really giving some gems of what she's bringing in to the craft community. So I'm so excited. Tamika, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm
I'm
super excited to be here and joining you today.
excited to have you, and you're just so energizing. So that's why I said I definitely got to have you on the show because what we want to talk about today is that healing. I recently went to a retreat with the FCCEEF, that's the Family Child Care Enrichment Foundation, led by Vantonet. Oh, we got people coming in. Vantonet Savage and Alyssa, Omega, it's a whole board of them, you guys, a whole crew of leaders down in North Carolina. And it got me on this, really deep healing journey. And then meeting you, Tamika, it just felt divine. So let's
Yeah.
see, who is this? Is this someone you know coming in? Alicia, how you doing? If you now listen, guys, people when they come on the show, if you want to be on the panel, a lot of times everybody is still working, so they can't always come on. They just kind of come on to listen. So, Alicia, if you can come on, definitely, let us know when you can. But we're gonna keep on rolling, or you can just put it in the chat, you guys. All right. So before we get started in this conversation, oh, she says she's here. Hi. I got my craft mug. This is
Hi.
our craft mug, which was a vision for the Craft Cafe. So if you have one, you're an OG craft member, bring it to the table if you're watching from home. Okay, more people coming in. All right, more people
I
coming in.
have a couple I have a couple of
Conversation.
people inquiring about connecting on Facebook. They're not seeing anything.
They're not seeing
Should do
anything. Let
No,
me
do they
see.
just
Let me
go
make
to the
sure
page?
they're in. Yep, just go straight to the page and it's up there. Let me go in there and see if there is a need to let them in. Okay, give me 1 second. So come on in, guys. Those of you who just arrived. Now, what I like to do is give people who come into the Zoom a chance to introduce themselves before we really get started. Okay, so I see Adrian Freeman. Hey, honey, you want to come in and introduce yourself before we get deep into the conversation with Miss Tamika?
I see it.
Okay, so we see
Yes.
who's in the building. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for coming. All right. If you're on Facebook, I'm coming for you. Okay, let me see who's in there. Okay, I see. Let's see. Is this Carol? Is that one of your friends? I see Carol coming in. Let me
Okay.
see. Who else?
Brandon. Brandon is here. Brandon is
Okay,
working.
Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for coming. If you could, even if you can't come on camera, you can just unmute, say hello, introduce yourself, tell us where you're coming in from, just so we have an element of our networking for everybody to know who's who when we're on here. Okay. And see who we're reaching. Hey, Adrian, I see you off mute. Tell us who you are.
Well, good afternoon, lovely ladies. How are you?
Good
Hey.
afternoon. How are
I
you?
I'm well. I'm well. Thank you so much for asking, and happy Juneteenth.
Happy
Mm,
Juneteenth. Yes,
Juneteenth. We
indeed.
said we were doing
Yeah.
this for Juneteenth.
Yes, yes. So I am Adrian Freeman, and I'm hanging out with you guys from Gary, Indiana.
All right. Gary
Welcome,
and
Adrian.
Building.
Thank you.
Hey,
This,
Adrian. Good to
this,
see you
this,
again.
yeah, this will be my first interaction, and I'm excited. Thank you so much for
Yes.
inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Awesome. Thank
Tell
you
them
for
what you do,
coming.
Adrian, because you're coming up. You're going to be on the show this year. So tell them what you do real quick.
Well, you know what? I help people reconnect with who they really are. I do that through hypnotherapy and meditation. And I have my
Awesome.
own practice, and it is called Adrian Freeman Meant to Thrive Therapy.
Oh, I love it. I love
I
that.
see. This is why I wanted you to come on because I wanted you guys to, meet each other because of what you guys are doing on two separate platforms. Okay, so we all about healing up in here. I'm so excited. Thank you, Adrian, for popping in.
Oh, my pleasure. Again, thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited.
Indeed.
Of
Indeed.
course. So let's see. Brandon, are you able to unmute and introduce yourself?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I apologize.
Hey, Benson. Welcome. I'm so happy you were able to
Yeah,
join, hun.
thank you for having me. I'm happy you sent me the link. I'm excited to be here.
Where
Absolutely.
you
Thanks.
joining from, Brandon?
I'm joining. Currently I'm at work, but I'm joining from DC. Currently.
All right, DC
Yes,
in the
yes.
building. I'm in DC too. So yeah,
Oh,
so DC
hey.
representing Southeast, baby. Okay, so yeah, we're here. Tamika, where
Yes,
you at
yes.
right now?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. See, we're all over the place, you guys. I told you we're all over the place. We get international over here. This is a great place to network. So, you guys, that's why I always encourage people to put their information into the chat. I transfer it to the Facebook chat also because I'm on the ones and twos right now. So that's why I said pop it in the chat. Okay, hey Mika Meek watching from Facebook. Is that one of your people down there
That's
on Facebook?
me. That's me watching
Oh,
from
that's you.
Facebook.
Oh, you watching. So you on the ones and twos too. All right now. And we got, like I said, we got Lisa Solo in the building. All right, so shout out to you. Well, let's get it rolling, guys. She already put it in the chat.
Absolutely.
She's in there. So let's keep it rolling. I'm so excited because like I said, when we talked about so many things, but I want to just take it back. Tell me about you. Tell me about Tamika. Where are you from? Let's start there. We're going to start from the beginning.
All right. Well, I am a Brooklyn girl at heart, born and bred in Brooklyn, New York.
Go Knicks. Ah.
Go Knicks. Yes, indeed. I was so
New
jealous.
York.
One of my cousins sent me pictures from the parade. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm living vicariously through you right now. So my family is from Trinidad in the West Indies, and so I have had the opportunity to live there for a few years and go to school there. And then when I returned to the States, I went back to Brooklyn with my mom, went to Erasmus Hall High School for a few years. So if you're from Brooklyn and you know E Hall,
Mhm.
represent. Um, and then I moved to Massachusetts to be with my dad and spent a very long time in New England. I lived in between Massachusetts and New Hampshire. So I went to Salem State College, which is now Salem State University. And then I worked at and earned my first master's degree at the University of New Hampshire. And then made my way down to the DMV, down in Maryland. And
Mhm.
I worked at Prince George's Community College and with KIPP DC
Okay.
to school for a number of years. And then it was during my journey, initially at the University of New Hampshire, that I really began to think about mental health. And so my first master's degree is actually a master's of education in counseling.
Okay.
But you don't know what you don't know. And so it was like the blind leading the blind. I didn't know what questions to ask or what guidance to receive. I just knew that I was interested in mental health. And so the degree that I earned at the time, I later found out that it wasn't, the credits weren't enough for me to seek licensure. They have since done away with that program or revamped it, I should say. So I ended up working in education for over 20 years. And so I worked at Salem State College. I worked at the University of New Hampshire. I worked at Prince George's Community College, providing resources and help for students and their families. So a lot of academic advising, financial aid advising, personal advising. Working at all of these places, I was able to engage in workshops for different populations. The University of New Hampshire, I was there for about 7 years, I think, and it was an eye-opening experience in terms of race and culture and what a lot of our students were going through, particularly my Black and Brown students. When I first began working at UNH, I joined them as an admissions counselor. So, of course, my territory were the boroughs in New York. I was working there when 9/11 happened.
Wow.
And after that happened, thankfully, I wasn't in New York at when it happened, but I did have to go to New York. So imagine driving through the city, going to the Javits Convention Center for a college fair, and the remnants of the attack. You're seeing the
Wow.
shell of the buildings at the time.
Ground zero.
It was I can't even think of a word to describe it right now. It was something.
Yeah.
And so and so many of the students that I recruited are from that territory, that were from that area. So coming to the University of New Hampshire, it was a bit of a culture shock, especially getting kids from the Bronx and Brooklyn. And, we have a lot of West Indian people out there.
Mhm.
So one of my former students is full adult now, teacher in the Bronx. She's a parent. And
Wow.
I remember as a student, she was like, Tamika, Miss Tamika, why'd you bring me here? Why'd you bring me here? But do you know she stayed? She earned her master's degree there. She gave
Wow.
back to the community. She did her thing. So I was so proud of them. So all of these experiences, then fast forward working at KIPP DC, um, uh, so the KIPP enterprise, they put together a program where we continue to follow the alumni beyond high school graduation, right? So through college attainment, through college attendance, we would work with them through completion. And through that journey, man, oh man, oh man, families are struggling, students are struggling, financial challenges, losing families and friends. During the time that I worked at KIPP DC, we lost a couple of students to gun violence and, other things that were going on. And I'm like, I'm seeing people who look like me who just needed help. And with our community, mental health has been so taboo. I think we're now getting out of that phase, but it was so taboo. And part of that was because there weren't enough people who look like us, right? And so during that time, I decided to go back to school. I went to Southern New Hampshire University online, earned my master's in mental health, clinical mental health counseling. And here I am 6 years later after earning that degree.
Wow, I love that. And when you said KIP, that hit home because I live in DC. I have kids. My kids go
Mhm.
to DC public school, so I hear KIP like this. And I
Yes.
know firsthand of the gun violence that goes on because my kids' school, they suffer from it. Like they have shootouts outside
Yeah.
of school. DC is
Yeah.
notorious for that. And one of the things that I hear is that growing up in DC, they said that all of us, not just the kids, the adults, the dogs, the
Mhm.
cats, are suffering from PTSD and we don't even know it because we've been so desensitized. I had to stop watching the news, honestly, because the news
Absolutely.
was like, are you serious? How many stabbings?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how many kids got killed? Like,
Yeah.
it just makes you go crazy. And it's like you said,
Yeah.
when you think of how do you navigate that within a family? And then when you think about as an educator, you're not only dealing with the students and the trauma they've incurred, but you have your own trauma. You know what I mean? Then the families are affected. Like, my goodness, like we definitely need you. So talk a little bit about, because I know you said that was 6 years ago when you decided to go into like after you finished with your degree.
My program, right? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I was living in the DMV at the time, and I am a mental health therapist, but I'm also a human being, and life was lifing at that time. I tell you. I was going through some personal things while also trying to navigate my education and work full time and take care of self. And, you know, um, shout out to my therapist at that time. I love her. The only reason I'm not with her anymore is because I had to leave Maryland, but she is absolutely amazing. And so had it not been for her, I might have been in a very different headspace at that
Mhm.
time. But so I started my journey in Maryland, and well, so I was living in Maryland, but I was getting my license in DC,
Okay.
working on getting my license in DC, and I had two really great opportunities, and this is where I know like life was lifing and I wasn't able to keep up, right? So I had two great opportunities with two amazing supervisors. And during that time I moved and it just didn't work out. Like I just couldn't keep up and I needed to take a break. So I took a
Mm.
break. During that time is when I relocated to Florida and I have family down here and man, the love was real. And I just I'm so appreciative for family, and my family, my blood family, and chosen family, right? I have sorority sisters that I connected with down here, my cousins, one of my brothers, and we just made it work. I was able to talk and vent and rejuvenate. I met my partner, my new partner down here, and it has been a whole vibe, right? And so I'm just grateful. So coming down here, I've had to rebuild. And so in the state of Florida, I've been able to now start my private practice. So let me talk a little bit about guided ancestral healing because I actually established guided ancestral healing when I was doing contract work in DC. But DC does not allow you to have a private practice as when you are provisionally licensed.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
right. And so in the state of Florida, though, you can as long as you have supervision, right? And so I said, let me think about how I want to do this. Now, Guided Ancestral Healing, founding this organization was very intentional. This organization is dedicated to my brother Garvey, who passed away in 2009. And so the initials are the name of this practice. So his initials are GAH. And I strongly believe that he continues to connect with not just me, but all of our siblings and now his nieces and nephews. I strongly believe that his essence remains with us and continues to guide us. And so we have just continued to honor him in various ways. And this is my way of honoring him and his memory and legacy. And so, Guided Ancestral Healing, when I first started this, initially, when I first started this journey, I was going to initially work as a marriage and family therapist. And because of what I was going through at the time that I started this journey, I said, I can't do that. I cannot do that. And so it shifted a couple of times. And, I believe that the creator, my ancestors, my guides have all brought me to this place of focusing on trauma, generational trauma, grief, transitions, healing. And this is where I've landed. Now, might this change in a couple of years? It could, but I firmly believe the foundation of it is not going to change. That piece is not going to change. And so I am exploring my focus right now. At some point, I will be certified as a EMDR therapist.
Okay, what is that?
So,
I can't
EMDR
acronyms.
approach.
I'm crazy.
It is, in a nutshell, it is an approach that is used. It's intensive therapy, so eye movement desensitization, reprocessing therapy, and it is an approach that is used to help people who have had severely traumatic experiences. And at its core, the idea is that it is helping you to take those memories and essentially desensitize them so it doesn't impact you. If you think about it, it's just like a fleeting thought. It's not giving you anxiety attacks every
Yeah.
time you learn about it or you think about it, right? Um, Somatic therapy is something that is near and dear to my heart as I begin to learn about it. So when you think about how our bodies carry trauma, whether you have had physical loss of a family member, whether it's loss of a relationship, um, you know, loss of a job, drastic changes in your life, financial woes, and it is really impacting you, generational trauma. We don't always think about how our bodies carry. And so what happens is our dysfunction becomes our function. It becomes our norm. And we don't even realize that this is not healthy for us. So when you are feeling that heaviness in your chest, or you're getting those constant headaches, or even the pain in your body, why is my back hurting so much? You know, why am I getting all of these cramps, right? Why is my stomach messing up all the time? A lot of that is that inner stress that you're carrying, that weight that you're holding on to. And so somatic therapy helps you to begin to unfold that, unpack that, and release. So I'm still a toddler in this work, and I am so blessed to have had some amazing and still have amazing mentors and supervisors who I'm able to learn from and who provide guidance as I walk through this journey, and who also understand what I want to do and don't try to talk me out of it or try to change my approach, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
so now that I'm down here in Florida and I am now building this practice, I'm starting to take on private clients and receiving resources so that I can build my skills in these areas. And I'm exploring different opportunities to connect with people and help people to um, live beyond survival, right? So shift out of that survival mode and really connect with themselves and their community, and begin to heal in a real way.
I love that. One thing that you said to me, because that just been on my mind, is you said, I was going through something. Life was life, and I needed a break. And what you said afterwards was so powerful. You said, so I took a break. I think that's probably the hardest thing for people to actually do, is give themselves permission to take a break. Life do be life. And like you said, we're so conditioned to just take the pain and the stress and just live in it. Just live with the bad foot, live with the rock in the shoe. I did a video about that, how you just walking with a rock in your shoe. Because you don't have time to stop and get the rock
Yes.
out. So you
Yes.
just suffering through this rock in your shoe.
Listen.
And one more thing, and then I wanna throw it back to you, because when you talked about your brother's initials, and
Yes.
then I read this again, even though I've been reading the title, your business
Mm-hmm.
name,
Mm-hmm.
that gave it a whole new meaning, because I'm one of those people
Yeah.
who feel like my ancestors guide me through
Mm-hmm.
also. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I learned about myself is that I'm a page turner,
Yeah.
meaning that I am not afraid to turn the page. And I do feel like in life, my ancestors are the ones who guide me to turn the page. So I'm not afraid to do something else, to try something new, and not be afraid of what's going to happen. What if this, it's just, I'm on an adventure. So and then the next thing you said, okay, I said I was going to be the last thing, but this is really
No,
the
please.
next thing I
Yeah.
should say. You said you moved and you went into a circle of your family and friends, which I call family. Your friends
Mm-hmm.
that become family, and
Mm-hmm.
it's intentional group that pours
Mm-hmm.
into you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to talk about that and the importance of that, with the ancestral piece, the spiritual
Yeah.
aspect, and then the physical aspect of who you have around you and how important that is to your healing. Because that's what
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't talk about that. They don't even think about it a lot of times either.
Listen, and we still fight it. We still fight it because I'll tell you this, even surrounded by these people, I still went into a hole for a minute, and I think so many of us do this. Those of us, I know that craft is really focused on people women, especially Black women who are in leadership and really trying to figure out their space and how they connect with family members. And, it's like you're walking down the street and a person asks, "How you doing?" Even though there's a flame behind you, right? The world is falling apart. And you're like, "I'm okay.
Good.
Life is good."
Let's,
You know?
yeah.
And so even with that, I think, and this is something, I'm still learning how to accept the love, how to accept
Mhm.
the help, right? Yeah, we're all strong. Yes, we all can be strong, but sometimes it's okay to release the cape. We don't have to be
Yeah.
superwoman every day. And we forget that, you know. So I am grateful for the patience that my family and friends have with me. I'm grateful for the love that they continue to pour into me, and I try to pour into them as well. Um, I am I'm grateful. So, and then there's that whole ancestral piece. So I come from a spiritual family, you know. Um, Notice I didn't say religious. Religion is there too, but and you know there can be a lot of debate about that. That's a whole different
That's a
conversation.
whole other
But
episode. I'm in there with you too.
you know, but there's a spiritual piece of being grounded, doing that shadow work,
Mm.
right? Which, full transparency, I'm still working on. You know,
Same. Mm-hmm.
that shadow work goes deep. And that is really what's going to help you to find your inner truth. Like you got to be true with self,
Mm-hmm.
right? And working in this field as a mental health therapist, you know, remember I said I'm still a human being. You know, I have a history, I have a life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm carrying my own stuff with me. So when I'm with my client and I'm being present with my client, I'm now taking on their stuff. I don't care what nobody says. If, as a therapist, I believe, my personal belief, if you are really doing your job and you're meeting with a client who is carrying some heavy stuff, it is impossible to leave that space without uh, uh, carrying some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
You understand? And so that ancestral piece, I have to lean on that to exhale, to sigh, reaching out to my family to, you know, I one of my brothers, he is pure comedy. He's actually watching on Facebook. And so when I'm ready to laugh, I call him because I know he's gonna talk some foolishness and we're gonna talk foolishness and we're gonna get a laugh, right? Um, you know, one of my sisters, I can reflect with her. She, you know, she's a serious one, and she'll pull my card. They'll all pull my card, but she'll pull my card. I remember I had a session a long time ago, and I remember calling her up after the session, and I said, I feel like I just had therapy with myself. It was that deep when I met that person, and I was like, the life experiences, and I was like, okay, all right, what are y'all trying to tell me? What do I need to be focusing on? What do I need to be looking at? So anyway, um, it's a part of me. And I am a firm believer that I can't walk this journey by myself. I just can't. And I think that for women in leadership, when we are trying to hold up everything, um, our positions, our title of wife, girlfriend, mother, caretaker, whatever it is, that's a lot to juggle. And so, how do you now then say, okay, let me take care of me? So, that piece that I talked about earlier about having to just take a break, sometimes we take a break and we feel guilty. We take a
Mm-hmm.
break with guilt. That's not taking a break.
Yeah.
That is not taking a break. Um, so the question begs, well, how do I take a break without feeling guilty? How do I release
Mm-hmm.
that? Baby, you are owned it. You earned that break. You earned that break. Take it.
Yeah.
Let your partner care for you. You know, leave the heaviness at the door. So yeah, I think I went on a little bit of a rant, but
No, but that it's like, how do we do that? Like that, I
mm,
had to, it took me to like this year, like this past year, like 25, 26, to actually
mhm.
schedule breaks in my schedule for the year. Like, you know, like I literally was like going on vacation and not taking off. I'm at the pool, I'm at the beach with my laptop. Like, okay, kids, be right there. Just one more Zoom. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
don't I, so I started literally this year, all these years, I never took
Yeah.
breaks. When I worked in
Yeah.
corporate, I didn't even take my days off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a
So,
guilt there. Like, how do you just give yourself permission? Like,
yeah. I think that society has made it cool, right? So there are these buzzwords, multitasking, and I multitask, and I'm proud that I multitask, and there might not be anything wrong with that, but at what point do you say no? Let me finish this before I move to this. Um, at what point do you say, yes, I'm going to take a break, and no, there's nothing wrong with that, and no, you can't make me feel guilty for that. We have we've normalized this. Um, there's this phrase that comes to mind: "I'll sleep when I die." Come again?
I was thinking the same thing. I used to say that. And I don't anymore though. I don't anymore. I literally used to live by that.
And at one point, I used to think that was cool too. Yep, I'll sleep when I die, and I get it, right? We grind. We believe in the hustle. We want to work for what we want. We want to set it up for our families and make sure that not we're not just okay, but our loved ones are okay. But at what cost? At what cost?
Mm-hmm.
Because today or tomorrow, we can no longer provide the service. You know what's going to happen? If you're working for somebody, they're going to replace you.
Mm-hmm.
They're absolutely going to replace you, and it won't be long either,
No,
right?
they probably got some money.
We hear you can't take the money with you, right? What is left is the time that you give family, and I'm guilty of it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't when I operate in reality.
Yeah.
And so I have to talk to myself and share things with myself and say, okay, Tamika, go visit your family, take a moment, take a break, right? And sometimes we feel like we can't help it, but then you'll see your body starts to suffer for it, right? Like I talked earlier about that stress piece. You're always tired. It's like you can't find yourself, you can't regulate yourself because you're going all the time, and you can't catch a break. And I've been there. I've landed in the hospital for stress.
It's true. It'll kill you, man. That's crazy. And speaking of that, one of the other things that I really love talking to you about was the relationship piece. Because when
Mhm.
the fact that now I see why it was such a robust dialogue when we came to that, when you just told me that you majored in family and was it marriage counseling
And
and
family therapy. I didn't
family
major in
therapy.
it, but that was
But that was a
my
focus
focus at
for you.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, no wonder that was such a good conversation, because one of the things that Jackie and Dr. Gunland used to say when they were well not were when they're not, I don't want to say counseling, but it felt that's what they said. They would be doing consulting for business, and it would be like couples that are in business together. They would say it felt more like marriage counseling than it felt like business consulting. And we talked about that, and I'm like, wow, when you think of, especially, because when it comes to ECE, I
Mhm.
go to all of these conferences, and it's so many
Mhm.
daggone women. And they have like the
Mhm.
husband squads that are like scattered throughout the conferences, waiting in hallways.
Mhm.
And I was wondering,
Mhm.
like, what does that, how does that affect a relationship being in such a strenuous industry? And like you said, being a leader, especially as a woman, being in a relationship, and then you have to be the boss here and then here. How do you navigate that? So can we get back into that part of the conversation, like that communication? We talk about everything, y'all. I can't even think of where to start, really, but I want to go into that.
Listen, I'm gonna put myself on blast for a moment because my honey and I we fussed with each other recently because he said, we're not spending enough time together. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? And then I really had to check myself, right? He's probably gonna hear this and say, mm-hmm. Because at some point we have to say when we're going to make time for ourselves and for our partners, right? But in addition to that, sometimes we wear the cape at work, and then we come home and we still have the cape on, and we have to really figure out how to turn it off, release the cape when you come home. Now, I'm going to say this, it goes both ways, right? Because if, you know, you're in a relationship and you come home, your partner also has to be in a space to provide that safe space for you,
Yeah.
right? Um, it's a delicate balance. You know, we can have a whole conversation, we can have a whole workshop about what this looks like, right?
Mhm.
Because it's not, I don't want, you know, people to think, well, yeah, see, she said you gotta make a safe space for me. And then the
Yeah.
other person says, well, yeah, you gotta take your cape off. You gotta turn it off when you walk in the door. It's a balance.
Mhm.
It is a balance. I think specifically, you know, for my sisters, my women, my Black women, when we are in these positions of leadership, we sometimes have difficulty with turning it off. We do. I've seen it, right? And and then we try to figure out, we're trying to also then figure out, well, why is the communication off at home? You know, why is my partner not understanding me? Well, part of it is probably when you go home, you're trying to run the household just like you're trying to run your organization. It's two different
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
You got to be, you know, wife, mom, you got to soften it, right? And to the partners, you got to allow a space to allow her to be soft, right? Um, and you got to make sure that you're talking the same language, right? It's that language. Sometimes you're talking to each other and you're not hearing each other because you're talking two different languages and it's not landing,
Mhm.
right? Um, whew. So let me just paint a scenario to
Okay.
help drive this home. So say you have a woman who is running her own early childhood education enterprise, right? She is she has a day where she's meeting with some I don't know, potential investors. She is meeting with her I don't know, president or a CEO, and she also has to go into the schools and maybe do some observations, meet with some principals, and um, she gets a call from a parent who is frustrated because of whatever. So she's juggling all of these things. It's a tough day, and she's wearing all of these hats and she's doing all of those things. And then she comes home, and as soon as she walks in the door, she starts with, you know, well, why isn't this done? And why did that happen? And and why are you doing this? And
Mhm.
her partner is looking at her like, hi,
Right.
what's you good? What's going on? And she's not picking up what they're putting down, and she's continuously going. What do you think that partner is going to do? How are they going to respond?
Probably shut
What's going to
down.
happen?
Yeah.
Right? And then, so when you're now finally, when she's finally done with the and now she realizes her partner just do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she wants to ask, well, what's wrong with you? You see how that works?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, from the partner's perspective, right? So similar scenario, but let's say she does come home and she is like, I'm so exhausted. It's been such a hard day. And the partner now says, well, my day was blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry you had a hard day, right? Come here, let me take your shoes off. Tell me what's going on. But sometimes that is so hard for people because we are coming from spaces where work genuinely is equally challenging.
Yeah.
And we get into this space of competition instead of being of service to one another.
Sure. Like, you think that's hard? What about?
Time and place. Time and place. You'll have your turn, right? But your partner just came in and you heard your partner say, today was so hard. Like, I am drained. I am stressed. I can't believe I went through all of this. You know, she's not nagging. She's just expressing, right? And at some point in time, hopefully she'll ask, well, how was your day?
Right. So hopefully.
Now you can reciprocate.
Mm-hmm.
But this is communication that we have to learn, right? I was connecting with a couple the other day, and one of the things that I shared with them at the end of our session was, the husband asked, well, how do we change if this is how we've been the whole time that we've been together?
Mm-hmm.
And my response was, you have to want it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You have to want it. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that it's going to happen overnight. But if you want it, you will make it work. You will be willing to work through those bumps and bruises to make sure that you begin to speak the same language, to make sure that you get to a place where you are in service to one another instead of being in competition with one another, right? When you are a leader, awesome. I guarantee you, if your spouse is proud of you, they're going to brag on you, right? But that bragging is only going to last so long if you're continuing to bring what you're giving out there into the household,
Okay.
right? You're a different person in the household. You're not running your company. You're living your life as a partner, as a parent, as a loved one.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm sure that there's some tools. I mean, I know you can't give it all away, without the milk for free. But what are just some basic tools that we can use just in any relationship? Doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship, like I said, with your spouse, with your kids, with the
Yeah.
parents,
Yeah.
that you could kind of use. I don't know if you have like a 1, 2, 3 something. You know how they tell you relax, relate, release, or something. Anything quick that you could kind of give us to help us
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah. So this is something that I've adopted. One of my cousins and I, we talk about this and use this phrase a lot. Is listen to understand and not to respond. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Listen to understand and not to respond. Too many times we're in a conversation and the person speaking, we're already formulating what we're going to say to them, but we're not hearing them. We're not hearing what they're saying because while you're formulating, they might be saying something that already answered a question that you might have or provide clarification for what you're trying to say. Listen with understanding, not just to respond. That's the first thing. I am a firm believer that at the base of many of our um, challenges in our relationships comes from poor communication.
Mm.
So sometimes we also have to take a step back and hold ourselves accountable. And I might get some flack for this, but sometimes for my sisters, this is hard. It is hard. We feel how we feel and we say what we want to say and we don't want to hear nothing. Okay? Um but sometimes we have to take a step back and say, okay, you know what? Let me just take a moment. Let me drop the attitude. Even if I'm angry and that's a valid emotion, let me not act in that anger. I'm going to share that I'm angry, but let me listen. Let
Yeah.
me really listen. And then let me respond logically, right? Now, on the flip side of that, you know, particularly when we're communicating with our men, um, I think sometimes our men will say that we are emotional creatures. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. We're all emotional.
Right.
We are all emotional because guess what? We're human.
Mm-hmm.
And every human being has emotions, right? And so just like women will act on their emotions, so will men.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not just talking about in romantic relationships. This happens in professional relationships. This happens in friendships. It's something that you might say might um, trigger something in that person, and they'll respond in kind because you're human. If you're triggered, you respond in kind.
Yeah.
So, at the basis of all of this, it's about listening. It's about also learning how to express your emotions um, without uh, hmm, what's the phrase that I want to use here? So express your emotions in a way that the other person can receive without feeling attacked.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm not saying that this is easy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of this you have to talk to yourself before you get it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other thing. Think before you speak. Remember that, parents used to tell us that, grandparents used to tell us that, teachers would tell us that. Think before you speak. So
Mm-hmm.
it's none of this is anything that is rocket science, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tools that we have that we don't use because of our experiences, you know. And so, because I had a bad experience here, well, nobody gets that piece of me again. I shut down. So now everybody gets this person.
Yeah.
I think that it is important that you treat every individual as an individual and not make them pay for what somebody else did, right? Whether it's in the professional space or the personal space.
Yeah.
Allow that person to show you who they are before you make them pay, right?
Right. That's the healing.
Um, that's the healing.
Yeah.
That's the right. So, yeah, it comes down to the communication and how you communicate. And every situation is different, you
Yeah.
know, every situation is different.
I love that, the communication piece. I learned I went to this mom group and they had us do this exercise. They put us in pairs
Hmm.
and we had to ask the person a question, but we couldn't say anything for 2 minutes. We could only like nod. And then after the person had their 2 minutes to, I guess, say whatever they had to say, you had to repeat back to them what you heard. And you would be so surprised at the mix-ups. You're like, I didn't say that. And then, like, you know what I mean? Like, you realizing, like, you're not even, like you said, and when you're listening to respond, you're not even
Mm,
hearing the whole thing. And sometimes you might not have heard it right. So it's like, that's why I don't like texting, y'all. I'll tell you right now, the texting, you never know what context it is because you can say things in certain ways. So you're right, the communication piece has to be probably the first thing, the first door to walk through, you know?
absolutely. And I think that, communication is also learned behavior. So
Thank you.
sometimes we don't know what we don't know, and we may not understand how we're communicating is not effective. So then we have to relearn as adults how to now effectively communicate. But we
Mhm.
also have to be open to that.
Yeah.
And man, sometimes people don't want to be told what to do.
That's
You
true.
know, they don't want to hear when something is wrong, or if you did something incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want to hear if we hurt somebody's feelings, you know, depending on the type of person that you are.
Yeah. Some
Sometimes
people don't want to say
that's
it.
it's a hard pill to swallow,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have to be open to that. And I think that if we get to a place that we're able to do that, then we'll begin to see a shift in how people receive us,
Mm.
right? And how people respond to us, right?
Yeah. I love this. This feels like therapy right now because I'm when you said that, like the whole therapy piece, a therapist should have a therapist, and now it is more widestream because I even now, like I've been in therapy like 5 years. People, when I say it, people like, you're in therapy? Like, yeah, you don't have a therapist? Like, you better get you one. Like, it's like it's just cool now, you know?
Exactly. Yep. Yep. It's the thing to do. And I also believe that sometimes, even if you believe that your therapist is effective, that to consider after a certain period of time, maybe that therapist has taken you as far as you could go, and
Mhm.
maybe change therapists, right?
Okay.
Maybe explore a therapist with a particular specialty,
That's
right?
mhm.
Because you may be working with that therapist, and you might find someone who specializes in grief, for example, right? And that therapist that you are working with doesn't have that specialty to work through, like really dig through that grief. You may have to change. You know, they were good. You stayed with them. They got you as far as they could get you. They did the work. You did the work with them. But if you pay attention to, if you feel that you have gotten to a place of being stagnant,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
You don't want that with your therapist.
No. We got a comment for you in the chat from Adrienne Freeman. She says, I love what you said about rest. Here's the thing most of us don't understand. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. Rest is the most
Oh,
important resource that helps you keep
oh,
going. Thanks, Adrienne, for that.
thank you, Adrienne.
Yes.
Powerful. One of the things that I'm seeing right now is that we don't sleep enough, right? So sleep is tight.
Mhm.
Now, understand rest doesn't always mean sleep, but sleep is important in order for you to properly rest, right? It's how your
Mhm.
body restores itself, it rejuvenates, it heals, right? So if you're not resting, your body is always going to be on go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And then you're going to begin to wonder, why do I feel so crazy? Why is my chest so tight? Why am I not, you're walking around like this all the time.
Yeah.
Like, baby, drop your shoulders. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, Adrienne, I could not agree more. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this conversation with you, Tamika. Like I said, it feels like the healing. So I can't wait to have you do more with craft and really dig into these different topics because like you said, we kept saying that's for a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother episode. So we got a whole bunch of episodes that could come out of this because I'm usually chock full of questions, but that's one of the things that like I learned with the communication. A lot of times
Mm,
people don't always tell you the full story. So sometimes you do got to ask questions and not be afraid to hear the answer, like you said, because some people don't want to speak up and communicate because they don't want to rock the boat. But then, like you said, some people don't want to be accountable or hear constructive criticism. So it's a it's so much healing that needs to go on because I believe that we all build walls,
mhm,
protect
mhm,
ourselves, keep people out, whatever you want to call it, and I believe the healing is the answer to that.
mhm,
So yeah, we got a
mhm.
lot to talk about. So trauma, all that PT, what is it, PTSD? Is it
PTSD. Mhm.
PTSD? all of that
Mm-hmm.
different things. And then you said generational healing and the trauma that's passed down through our ancestors.
Ooh, listen, there's a book by Dr. Joy DeGruy, which really got me on that journey. It's called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome.
Oh, wow.
And she is a psychologist. And in the book, she talks about how through the generations, we have taken on the traits of our ancestors, right? Because when you, happy Juneteenth, when the slaves were freed, right? They didn't say, here's your 40 acres and a mule. They didn't say, here's a job. So after generations of torture, one day they said, go. Well, where do I go? What do I do?
Mhm.
Right? And that wasn't the end of it because, as we know, that followed years of sharecropping through which there was more torture, right?
Yeah.
We experienced our ancestors experienced Jim Crow. We had the civil rights movement, but as we go, whew, I don't get into politics, but
You still go
if
through some.
we look at what is happening today, right, we know that there's still a lot of healing that needs to happen, right? And so that book, Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, really opened my eyes to that generational trauma. I tell you, it
Yeah.
it I really begun to understand it in a whole different light. And so, if you are a reader, I encourage you to explore that book.
You got some comments on Facebook. Hi, Keisha. Keisha Burgess says, I love this. Keep going, sis. Much love and respect.
Thank you, Key.
Jude J. Phonics Hazel says, super proud of you, Tamika.
Yes, thanks, man.
Shout out to you, Sasha Marie, watching on Facebook, Dre the
Yeah.
Bull.
Dre
And
is my brother. Sasha is my sister-in-law.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, they are on here.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Yes.
guys, I'm so excited to have you guys join us in this conversation. There's going to be more of this coming, definitely, but I definitely want to get you out here, Tamika, because I want more people to know that this is available because I know more people want to have access to, that guided ancestral healing, pun intended, because I know that especially when it comes to grief, because I have a wall like right here in my office. I call it it sounds so weird when I say it, my death wall, but it's so many obituaries within the last 2 years that I've been to funerals. And
Um,
it's bittersweet because I feel like
mhm.
everybody I'm looking right at them right now on my wall guide me. That they're all
Yeah.
over there, not over there. They're not anywhere far. They're in my house. They're around me. They're guiding me through everything that I'm doing. And it makes me feel safe. It makes me feel blessed. And it gives me a closure, not even a closure, but a comfort with them
Mhm.
transitioning. And there's so many people who are
Mhm.
in pain right now because they don't feel that way. They feel
Mhm.
that hole. They feel like the person is far from them. So I just want
Mhm.
people to know that if you are suffering from grief right now, you have access to support. Tamika, could you put your information in the chat, and I'm gonna pop it in the chat for Facebook so people could get to
Yes.
you and utilize your services because this is needed. And I love that you do it with a focus on our people and like you said, the books that you're reading. And you guys, as you can see, she's not just waking up one day saying that she want to do this. This has been a journey for her in her own personal life. And she's done the work as far as working with people and the education behind it, the degrees and everything. So she knows what she's talking about. So let's get it in the chat. I'm gonna put it in for the actual Facebook, the people watching on Facebook, those of you who have never heard of Miss Tamika Harrison / Garcia. Yeah. So
I'm
let's see.
so
Did you put it
sorry. I'm about to right now. Hold on.
Okay, perfect. All right, because we're gonna get it in there. So while she's getting there, I just wanna just say to everybody that came on today, thank you for spending time with us on this beautiful Friday, on this Juneteenth. So honored to do a craft cafe on Juneteenth, and then have somebody like Tamika come on and really stamp it with what she's talking about, with really healing ourselves from that PTSD that we're talking about, because it's not that long ago. All right, here it is. Guys, we want you to go to your Instagram. She's at Guiding Ancestral Healing on IG, you guys. I'm going to pop it in on the Facebook as well. I've also popped some links in there for you guys, because as you know that we are always accepting new members to craft. And in a few minutes, I'm going to go into that. Once we let everybody go, I always got to do my commercials, my
Indeed.
my sales pitch, because everybody needs to know what an amazing suite we have with craft. Now, listen, you guys can stay on if you like. I'll be about 3 to 5 minutes of my updates. But Tamika, there's another one, you guys. She just put another link in. So coming live to you on Facebook, I'm going to be popping that in for you. But I already put her Instagram on there. Make sure you guys are following. Okay, here we go. I'm coming over with this one to Facebook. All right. And if you guys are not subscribed to the YouTube channel where Craft Cafe Live episodes live, okay, definitely go over there and subscribe. We're at Craft Cafe Live Show. I just put it into the chat on Facebook as well. We want you to go and subscribe. And this episode will be going over there as well. It'll be launching later on today, so you can share it and all that good stuff, and let people know what we have going on over here at the Craft Cafe, and how we bring all the best experts that are really got boots on the ground today in today's families, today's businesses, and today's leaders. All right. So Tamika, any last words you want to leave everybody with for today's episode before I go into the abyss of craft?
Yes, I'm going to say build without breaking. Remember to put yourself first. That is not selfish, it is self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup, right? You can try, but it's not going to work. And so I thank you so much for allowing me to be present with you today, and I look forward to connecting with you all further. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here and lending us your expertise and your story, because you shared a lot today. So thank you. And thank
It
you
is
for
my
being
pleasure.
a part of the craft mission. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care,
All right.
everybody.
Have a great weekend. And like I
You
said, I'm going to
too.
share my screen. Like I said, you guys feel free to stay and chat. We love to have you guys. All right.
Okay.
Let me
I
bring
can
it up.
stay on for a little bit longer if you need me to.
Sure, you're
Okay.
welcome to. I
Okay.
just, I got a mouthful when I start sharing the screen when it comes to craft, because I
Indeed.
love what it is we get to do. All right, you guys, we're back at the home page. As you know, this is our website, www.betterfuturesdc.com. That brings us to our full suite of services and support for ECE leaders, you guys. And like I said, we're all about leaders. You don't have to have a childcare business to be a craft member. And remember, when the Craft Cafe is open to everybody, you don't even have to be a craft member. But you know what they say, if you go to the barbershop long enough, you're bound to get a haircut. So if you with us, you're bound to come on board. So let me tell you guys a little bit about it. Leadership starts here. This is our homepage where you can access everything. As you can see, we do cater to childcare businesses, but our services are so good and juicy. Any business can benefit from our amenities. Okay, now we have our Better Future side, which is our actual consulting company. Now, remember, consultants, they cost a pretty penny, but those big wig companies and government agencies, they can afford that. So that's for them. But when you're a single member LLC or you are an individual business owner, you still need access to the pros. And that's why we created Craft. And that's us over here. What we have with our Craft suite for our benefits for our members only is our webinars. That is the big chunk of what we offer with Craft, is access to the leaders and access to conference level classes, you guys, in the form of a live webinar. Anywhere you are in the world, you can be a part of it, because we go by Zoom. We go into the virtual space so that not only do you save money, you save time, you save your gas money because you know gas prices are crazy. And we know you've been working all day. So the last thing you want to do is have to get dressed and go out and sit in traffic to sit in the auditorium somewhere. So you can sit right in your kitchen or your whatever, your bathroom for that matter, and join in our webinars. We have the lineup for you every month to let you know what's coming up. We just had last night this one right here, More Than Included, Cultivating True Belonging for Every Learner, presented by Dr. Orinthia Harris. We call her Dr. O, and she's the owner of STEM Early, okay, guys? And what she does is she brings that inclusivity and not just the DEI approach. She's talking about in everything you do, cultivating a community that is unbiased, that's accepting of everybody, that really focuses on educating the individual child, okay? So what we talked about last night, like I said, she always get me fired up because she talked about the difference between actually being included and actually belonging. People could include you, but you might not feel like you belong there. And she gave so many examples and actually broke down the pillars of what that looks like. All right, so you can catch that actually on our app, our Craft Plus app, which is our streaming app where you can stream at any time for our members past webinars that you may have missed, because we know that you're busy. You might not be able to come to all the live actual webinars, but you didn't miss out on the fun or the amenities or the expertise because you can go ahead and stream it live, right on your tablet, your actual computer or your phone. Now let me tell you something about our Craft Plus app. You can download it to your phone or your tablet from the Guru Can platform, right? Now, if you're like me and you got an iPhone that never has any space, you might not want to download it. So guess what? You can watch it straight from our browser. Let me show you that. Okay. I'm going to show you that in a second because I want to tell you about what's next up. But listen, you can do it right from your browser, from our website. It's right on the homepage. I'll show you. It's a button that says Watch Craft. Okay. So that way, either way, you can still do the same thing and watch it through your browser. Now, we had Dr. O's class last night. Coming up next week is my class. If you didn't know, now you know. I am the marketing side of Craft. I am the queen. No, I'm joking. No, take it. I'm the queen of ECE marketing. I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm all about storytelling. I love to tell stories, but more than I love to tell stories, I like to listen to stories. So you put that together and I hear your story and I help you tell it in a compelling way that brings people that share your core values to you, because people actually patronize you, not just your business. They look at your business as an extension of you, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Okay, so we're going to be talking in my class next week on June 25th at 6:30 about establishing those brand pillars, because I think people don't realize that they have a way of doing stuff, but they just don't know how to explain it. And that's what I'm going to be helping you guys do. And this is part of a 4-part series. We had part 1 on establishing your brand voice. Okay, what's your tone? How are you talking to people? And it's no right or wrong, you guys. It's about what encapsulates your target audience, okay, and what you're actually giving out. What's your source for your actual center? So we talk about that. So these are your brand pillars, where we're going to establish what those are, not just for your clients, you guys, but for your funders and your employees, so people know what you're about. And that's how you gain the best candidates for your employees and the best families for your program, because that means that they share what you feel about life and the way that you see things, your perspective. Okay, so what's important to you is important to them, pretty much. And we're going to help you identify that. Okay, so that's it for June. Let me go back. I want to show you guys right here on the home page where it says Watch Craft right up at the top. Can you see my cursor? All right, I'm going to click on it right at the top right. Okay, right next to Better Futures, fundraising, and then it's Watch Craft. Boom, let's go. Okay, once you hit that, it's going to take you to our Craft Plus app login. Okay, now from here, it tells you a little bit about what we have going on different topics, operations, you name it, access to capital, legal, marketing, leadership, business planning, all of that, right? All of our episodes, excuse me, not episodes, our webinars, these are episodes, those are webinars. And all of them, they can be found on our Craft Plus app. Let me go back into it. I think I'm signed in. Okay, you click log in. All right. It always thinks that I'm Jahid. But yeah, this is his account, so I'm in his account showing y'all what you're gonna see. So this gives you a glimpse. You'll see the different thumbnails, and you can just thumb through and go back to, you see, you got stuff from 2020, even 2019. You guys can go back to some of our older classes, and you know, we go with what's happening in the industry. So we have some of the most provocative titles, you guys, like Control Freak, reimagining and rethinking our work as ECE leaders. That one was triggering for me because I am a self-proclaimed control freak. But one of the things we talk about in leadership is you are not an octopus. You can't do everything. So everything needs to have you need to delegate, is pretty much what we're telling you. So this will help you to actually let go of the wheel just a little bit, okay? And figure out a strategy on how to trust your team if you have one, and if you don't, how to build one. All right. So you can thumb through so many of our titles right here, okay? You can stream Craft Cafe Live is on here too, okay? You can go here, but this is for members. If you're not a member, you can go ahead on our YouTube channel, okay? And we have interviews on there too. Also articles that you can download and read right here on our app, you guys. And we have even more coming. So let's get back to where we were. Okay, so on our homepage, you can scroll down. Like I said, you're going to see the upcoming webinars, and it's going to also give you access to your account. All right, if you're already a craft member, you'll be able to go right in here and log in. And when you log in, you'll come into your portal where you can book appointments with our experts. You see, you can go in and do that. You can download any certifications. Well, certifications, but I was going to say certificates that you've earned from any of our boot camps, like our Wave boot camp or our Wave Lab, which this is our Wave Lab Tumblr, you guys. Wave Accounting Lab is our online accounting boot camp where we do 4 consecutive weeks with our panel of craft all-stars featuring Natrice Johnson as our lead instructor, Adrienne Briggs, who has just been recently named our first craft masters with her 3 decades of family childcare leadership. We also have myself for marketing, and then we have the dynamic duo of the childcare tax pros, where they are not just tax professionals, they are EAs. That means they're enrolled agents, and they can actually go in court for you, like actually represent you in court. Okay, guys? So we're not going to jail over here, okay? But yeah, this is the actual signature tumbler, the Wave Accounting Lab tumbler. You see it's big, it's huge. It's a 40 ounce, so you drink your water, mind your business, right? Okay. And I already showed y'all our signature craft mug. We do have a limited edition craft family mug, just like it, that has the craft, the original craft family logo on it. And that was a limited edition. So the people who have it are the only people that have it. Okay. So there's no more coming out. These are still, we're still going with these. So you can still get these, but not that one. Those are exclusive. So if you have it, it's a keepsake. So don't break it. Okay. So you can follow us on all platforms, you guys, for social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Craft Cafe Live. But if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok, we are Craft by Better Futures, straight out, okay? Craftsy is our referral program, and this is for members only. If you are a craft member, you have the opportunity to be a referral partner of ours, where you can earn up to $500 in, not craft bucks, I'm talking about real bucks, okay? Real dollars, $500 a year, just for inviting your friends. And what you have to do is come over here to your portal and get your code so that they can purchase with your code, and you can get credit for their membership, okay? And earn that money back, all right? Because we love sharing the wealth, all right? Ain't no fun if your homies can't have none, right? All right, and then we have our Premier and our essential plans for our Canoe. Canoe by Craft is our CRM program that we create for organizations, childcare associations, nonprofits, any big organization that needs to keep track of their customers, communicate with their customers on a normal basis, that needs to actually have memberships, if you need to take payments, if you need to take donations, if you need to manage your finances, all those things plug into our Canoe by Craft CRM program. That's a customer retention management system. And this is great for any organization with 25 or more members. And we have programs for smaller and larger organizations. That's our essential and our premier. And one of the perks of having Canoe by Craft as your premier CRM program, it comes with our Craft Plus app, you guys, okay? Now, it's different levels of access, but this is going to add on to your amenities for your actual benefits of your organization. So you get to beef up your benefits for your members and get a really solid system that is branded just for you. Now, we do have a 30-day trial, so if there's no contract needed, you can come in and just test it out, see what you think of it. Let us show you what we can do, because we can show you better than we can tell you. And then if you don't like it, that's fine, you can move on. But I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. So just try it. You don't have anything to lose, okay? So let's get back into the homepage. All right, and I want to show you, this is the last thing, you guys, because I know you got to go. I want to show you some of our partners that we work with, just to give you a glimpse of the trust factor. We work with everybody, you guys. If you haven't heard of us, then you probably live under a rock. Now, if you haven't heard of us, I know you heard of somebody on here. Okay, this is not even everybody. This is just, the ones we just put in that we featured in their publications. Okay, guys. Now, the next thing I want to show you here is the Join and Craft. All right, let's talk about these members only benefits, and then I'm going to let you go. All right, thank you guys for still staying on with me. Y'all so good. Let's get into these memberships, you guys. It's slowly rolling. What's happening? Let me see. Did somebody give me a chat? All right. Okay, that's the one from earlier. Okay, perfect. All right, put that to the side. All right, why is this not pulling up? Here we go. I had to let it roll again. Reloading. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, I hope you can see this. Let me pull it all the way up. Okay, so here we go. Let me get this out of here. So these are our memberships, you guys. We have our Craft Family. We have different levels to each of them. We have our Craft Family, then we have our Craft Lux. Craft Family, let me let you know that Craft Family is formulated specifically for family childcare business leaders, you guys. Now, whether you are just starting out or you've been in the industry for years, Craft Family is perfect for a family child care provider that is really ready to take their business to the next level, and they know what they're doing and they want to keep going, and they want access to the pros and to the latest experts, okay? And all of the different issues that's going on and support in their business, because as you can see, it gives you access to the Logo Clinic, which is my community where I help people. I critique, I give you constructive criticism, I help you with actually improving not just your logo, you guys, but your whole branding process, your marketing process, and your marketing plan. And this is included in your membership. We also help you with your Boost My Enrollment for your Google My Business page, so that we can utilize social media as a main digital platform for your marketing, because we know that in family child care, they have a cap on how many kids you can have. So that means that there's a cap on how much you can actually earn. So we don't want to be breaking the bank with the marketing. So we're going to start with what's actually accessible, what we can do today, okay, without a huge budget. All right. And it does come with some amenities on the Plus, where you get $150 of credit for marketing with our marketers at Craft. Okay, so it gives you some support with that. Now, what I would say, if you are a family child care provider and you are looking to expand maybe into a group home or even into a center-based program, then I would advise you to move up and upgrade to Lux. Lux Plus Premium is our premium membership because it comes with everything, you guys. I want to alert you to this list over here. This is a hefty list. Now, this is $69.99 per month. And this is, I'm telling you, this is pennies on the dollar to pay for having consultants at your beck and call, because this membership, let me tell you the real flex of this membership. Not only does it come with unlimited webinars, all of the webinars, every single level, because we have executive level webinars that only go to our executives. But if you're Lux, if you're Lux Plus Premium, you have access to those. Okay, now let me tell you, in addition to that, the real big flex of this membership is you have unlimited access to our experts, which means that you can self-schedule yourself with any of us and actually get us on the line, do a Zoom with you. We can do a phone call, whatever is more comfortable for you. But you have us at your beck and call. Not only can you have unlimited access to setting up appointments with us, we also give you the VIP treatment, which means you can come late. And we don't do late at Better Futures, but for you, we do. VIP, we wait 10 minutes. We give you a 10-minute grace period because we know you're juggling all kinds of things and you're super busy. So we're going to be there for you. Okay? You got access to Logo Clinic, all of the Craft Plus amenities, of course. Now you have complimentary access. This is what I didn't let me say, this is what I forgot to mention. When I talked about our boot camps, we have our live wave, and then we have our online, our wave lab. Now, with Craft Family, you do get a deep discount, but with Craft Lux, it's included. You don't have to pay anything extra. You're automatically eligible for those classes, and you get first dibs. You get first, we keep about 5 to 10 slots on the side just for Craft Lux Plus premium members, because that's how we treat you. You a Lux Plus premium member. Of course, we're going to have a spot for you. And you don't have to pay anything extra, okay? You're in there like swimwear. And we always doing some boot camps. And you want to be a part of it, make sure you have a Craft Lux Plus premium membership. Now, also, we take into consideration for all of our members. If you are doing anything when it comes to marketing, that's our biggest thing. We want you to market your business. But we're about wealth building, you guys. If you are a homeowner already, kudos to you. You still might want to buy a home. If you are not a homeowner and you are a first-time home buyer, even if you're not a first-time home buyer, you still can participate in Home Buyer Club. We help you get your credit together. We help you get your paperwork together so that you can buy that home, whether it's your first home or an income property, you guys. All right, we got realtors, we have all of that on our deck, all right, to help you navigate. And I'm talking about throughout the country. You do not have to be in the DMV area to take control of these because, like I said, we're national, international companies. So we have people everywhere. So you don't have to worry. Now, next thing up is our investment club. We want to make sure that you have smart investments. Now, before you can invest, you got to get that debt right, okay? One thing we talk about is the finance, and we don't play around with it. Jaheed B. Davis, MBA, he's an ex-banker. He's not just an MBA, a Master's of Business. He is an ex-banker, so he knows all about what paperwork you need to have, how you need to get your ducks in a row to get any loans, any business loans, any lines of credit, those type of things. So not only do we help you work on wealth building, we help you get rid of that debt. We just did a webinar on breaking up with bad debt just a couple of weeks ago and told you how to pay those credit cards down for your personal credit, because you can't build business credit without fixing up that personal credit, right? So that's why we, rolled it back a bit so that we can get to the root of the actual solution. All right, I'm not gonna say the problem because we are about solutions, and we're gonna get that credit right. We're gonna make sure that not only do you have your credit right, you have the debt together. Get that debt off your back, because if you're trying to build wealth and get, investments rolling, it's going to be counterproductive if you got credit cards that's draining your budget. All right, so we're getting rid of all of that, and we're flipping it over to that side. We have a partnership with Robinhood Financial, you guys. So not only are we helping you guys put it together, we're putting our money where our mouth is, and we're giving you $40 to start with your investments and showing you how to actually put it together, how to get it started for your retirement. Okay, so if you haven't started, even if you have, it's not going to hurt you to get more, right? And we're going to get that started with you today. Okay, now you got to come in so you can claim it. All right, we're going to give you the code. Also, Credit Karma, we have you see it right there, things like the 11 bullet. We got a partnership with Credit Karma, help you get that credit right. I told you. Then we have a partnership with Forbes magazine, because you need to be thinking like a business owner. A lot of times in childcare, you're thinking like a mom and pop, like, oh yeah, it's just my little business. No, it's not. It's your big business, and we're going to treat it as such. So you need to be in the mindset of the big businesses. So get you a subscription with our discount to Forbes magazine so you can be in the loop, okay? Because there are a lot of childcare business owners that are on that list, you guys. They are taking childcare to the max, and you could be too if you're not already. All right, and I'm not talking about, just today. I'm talking about for the rest of your family's lives, okay? Talking about that generational wealth that people been talking about all over the internet, right? Now, what else? You can share these benefits with your spouse. So all of this we're talking about with the finance, investments, Bring your spouse, your significant other, and share with them too, because like we just talked about with Tamika, it is a partnership. You have to be in the loop with your partner when you're doing something so big, okay? Everybody has to be on board, and we're going to make sure of that. Now, also, we want to make sure that you understand that this live business coaching that we have, it is not for the weak. You have to be ready to be accountable. You have to be ready to work, because at the end of the day, we are not here to play. We want to see results. So we're going to be coaching, we're going to be pushing you, and we're going to be holding you accountable to the changes you said you wanted to see in your business. Okay? So if you're ready to make that change, go ahead and go to our website. Like I said, I'll put it in the chat, www.betterfutures. I'm going to slip it back in there again. We do have a free trial in there somewhere. Yep, right here. Start the free trial. If you are not sure, check it out. Take some classes and see what you think. All right, give us your feedback. Now, but if you're ready to go and you already know that you want this, you know that you need this, go ahead and join now for that $69.99. And remember, this is considered a professional service, so you can actually write this off on your taxes and get that money right back. All right. And guess what? We got the Child Care Tax Pro, so they'll show you how to do it. And I forgot to mention, our members get 50% off of their services with Child Care Tax Pros. And I will tell you, they do my taxes, and they look out for me every single year. And I actually been getting refunds, you guys. And they know what they're doing. So they're not going to, like I said, they know how to tell you what is a way to actually prepare. They do tax planning so that you know how you're spending your money and how you're going to actually declare it on your taxes. That's why we got these workshops, you guys. We got these boot camps to show you how to get your finances in order, so they cannot play with you. Even if you have an accountant, you don't want your accountant playing games with you. Okay, you want to be able to actually know how to check them if something is not right. Okay, so let me see. I'm putting this back into the chat for you guys at home watching from Facebook. Thank you for staying on with me. And I hope to see you at the next Craft Cafe, you guys, because we are bringing on new people for this summer. We have July is our administrative month, so we will not have any webinars in July, you guys. So have a great summer and a great summer break. This is our summer break for webinars for our staff, for our faculty, and for our presenters. So we want to make sure that you have a great Juneteenth. Fight the power. All of that. We got it going on. And thanks for your support. And I will see you at the next Craft Cafe. Bye, guys. Take care.